They secretly regret targeting you, but it's too late now. My beloved soul, do not scroll. What I am about to reveal was never meant to be heard casually. It was sealed until this exact moment because heaven does not expose what is unfinished. But now the silence has shifted. The atmosphere around your name has changed, and those who thought they could target you without consequence are beginning to feel something they never anticipated: regret. Before we go further, receive this as sacred alignment. Quiet your spirit, lean in, and if your heart bears witness, let your agreement rise silently before God. This is not entertainment, this is confirmation. They secretly regret targeting you, but it is too late now. You wondered why the attacks were so calculated, why the betrayal felt strategic, why the opposition seemed coordinated. It was not random, it was assignment. The enemy recognized something on you that others could not articulate. There is a mantle on your life. There is oil on your head. There is favor that does not come from human hands. And when favor rests on someone, resistance follows. But hear this clearly. Revelation 1. What they thought was your breaking point was actually your birthing point. They believed pressure would collapse you. They believed isolation would weaken you. They believed public misunderstanding would damage your credibility. What they did not understand is that pressure produces power in the kingdom. Fire does not destroy gold, it reveals it. While they were watching for your fall, heaven was watching your endurance. My beloved soul, do not miss this. The very season they thought would erase you has positioned you. The tears you cried were not evidence of defeat. They were evidence of transformation, and transformation terrifies those who hoped you would remain small. There were nights you asked, "Lord, why am I being targeted?" And heaven was silent not because you were abandoned, but because something irreversible was happening beneath the surface. Roots were growing, character was solidifying, discernment was sharpening. They attacked the version of you that existed then, but the version of you emerging now is untouchable in ways they never prepared for. And here is where the shift begins. They are starting to see that you did not collapse. You did not retaliate. You did not expose them the way you could have. You chose restraint. You chose silence. You chose growth. That restraint became evidence in the spiritual realm, and regret has entered their camp. They replay conversations in their mind. They rethink decisions. They watch from a distance, trying to understand why you are still standing, why you are stronger, why doors are opening. They thought targeting you would secure their position. Instead, it secured yours. But do not mistake their regret for repentance. This is not about their apology. This is about your elevation. My beloved soul, stay with me, because what I am about to reveal next explains why they are feeling the consequences before you even see the promotion. Revelation 2. When someone targets what God has chosen, they unknowingly accelerate divine justice. You did not have to defend yourself endlessly. You did not have to fight every lie. Heaven was recording. Heaven was weighing motives. Heaven was observing hearts. And justice in the kingdom does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it unfolds quietly, strategically, undeniably. Opportunities begin shifting, influence begins transferring, support begins moving. You may not see it fully yet, but something is rearranging. They thought you would lose credibility. Instead, your integrity is becoming your crown. They thought you would withdraw permanently. Instead, you are rising with clarity. My beloved soul, if you feel the weight of this, remain attentive, because this is only the surface. There is something they did not account for, something they underestimated, something that is about to make their regret irreversible. And the next revelation will expose exactly what that is. My beloved soul, remain still. Do not let distractions steal this moment, because what I am about to unveil explains the tension you have been sensing in the spirit. They feel it. They cannot explain it, but they feel it. The atmosphere has shifted around you. and it is unsettling to those who once felt confident targeting you. What they mistook as weakness has turned into authority. What they assumed was silence has become strategy, and what they believed was your ending has become your evidence. Listen carefully. Revelation 3. Your refusal to become bitter disarmed the weapon formed against you. They expected you to lash out. They expected you to gossip back, to defend yourself publicly, to crumble emotionally. They anticipated chaos, but you chose composure. You chose prayer over panic. You chose dignity over drama. That decision frustrated the plan against you, because bitterness would have tied you to their level. Retaliation would have delayed your elevation. But forgiveness, even when it cost you pride, positioned you beyond their reach. My beloved soul, heaven saw every moment you swallowed words you wanted to speak. Heaven saw the restraint in your replies. Heaven saw you walk away when you could have exposed everything. And because you restrained your flesh, heaven released favor. They are beginning to recognize that your peace is not accidental. It is protected. They watch you continue forward, unshaken, and something unsettles them deeply. It is conviction mixed with fear. Not fear of you, fear of what they may have triggered. Because when you target someone marked by God, you do not simply offend a person. You step into territory guarded by purpose. You were not just surviving that season, you were being fortified. While they were strategizing against you, heaven was strengthening you. While they were whispering behind your back, heaven was whispering into your future. And now something undeniable is happening. Doors are opening that they cannot close. Connections are forming that they cannot sabotage. Influence is increasing in ways they cannot control. And this leads to something even deeper. Revelation 4. The exposure they feared for themselves is beginning to unfold quietly. You never had to expose them. Time is doing it. Patterns are revealing themselves. Motives are surfacing. People are beginning to see inconsistencies that you once carried alone. What they thought was hidden is becoming visible. Not dramatically, not explosively, but unmistakably. My beloved soul, understand this. When God defends you, He does it in layers. First, He strengthens you internally. Then He rearranges circumstances externally. Then He allows truth to reveal itself without your interference. And that process has begun. They secretly regret targeting you because they underestimated the cost. They thought there would be no consequence. They assumed you would fade quietly into the background. But instead, you have grown sharper, clearer, more focused. And they are realizing something that unsettles them. You are no longer the same person they tried to diminish. You carry discernment now. You recognize manipulation now. You see through performance now. And that awareness makes you dangerous. Not in aggression, but in clarity. My beloved soul, stay attentive, because this next shift is crucial. Regret is only the beginning. There is something deeper rising in the spiritual realm that they did not anticipate. You see, targeting you activated something ancestral in your calling. It awakened resilience. It forced you into deeper prayer. It drove you into discipline. It stripped away naivety. They did not weaken you, they refined you. And now the very areas they tried to exploit are becoming your strength. The insecurity they tried to trigger has become confidence. The isolation they tried to enforce has become focus. The rejection they engineered has become redirection. And here is what unsettles them most. You are not seeking revenge. You are seeking purpose. That posture confuses the enemy. Because when someone refuses to be distracted by offense, acceleration follows. My beloved soul, something is about to happen that will confirm everything I am saying. A visible shift, a public elevation, a moment that will make their regret undeniable. But before that manifestation arrives, there is one more internal shift that must be revealed. Because the greatest consequence they face is not external loss, it is internal realization. And in the next revelation, I will uncover the irreversible line they crossed, the point where heaven decided enough was enough. My beloved soul, lean closer. Do not let your attention drift now, because this is where the spiritual weight intensifies. There is a line in the unseen realm that few understand, a boundary that, once crossed, shifts everything. And those who targeted you crossed it without realizing what they were stepping into. They thought they were opposing a person. They were interfering with an assignment. And heaven does not ignore interference with destiny. Listen carefully. Revelation 5. The moment they moved against you with intent, heaven moved in your defense with authority. This was not emotional sympathy. This was divine order. You wondered why certain doors suddenly closed around them, why alliances they depended on began weakening, why favors seemed to slip through their fingers. You told yourself it was coincidence. You even tried to defend them in your own mind. But it was not coincidence. It was correction. Not revenge, correction. Because when someone deliberately tries to diminish what God is elevating, there is a spiritual recalibration that takes place. Power shifts, access changes, protection intensifies. And you, my beloved soul, were covered in ways you did not even perceive. There were conversations about you that never reached the ears they were intended for. There were plans formed in private that dissolved before execution. There were opportunities they hoped to block that rerouted back to you in disguised form. You were not lucky, you were shielded. And here is what makes their regret heavier. They are starting to sense that their opposition activated your promotion. The resistance you endured refined your discernment. The betrayal you experienced clarified your boundaries. The exclusion you felt deepened your independence. And now you operate from a different level of awareness. My beloved soul, stay attentive, because this next truth explains the internal shift happening within them. Revelation 6. Their conscience has begun confronting them in silence. Not publicly, not dramatically, but privately. There are moments when your name crosses their mind unexpectedly. Moments when they see your growth from a distance. Moments when they witness your peace and feel something they cannot label. It is conviction, because deep down they know they misjudged you. They know they projected their insecurity onto you. They know they underestimated the strength beneath your gentleness. But here is what they truly did not expect. They did not expect you to rise without becoming hardened. They did not expect you to maintain integrity without becoming bitter. They did not expect you to succeed without compromising your values. And that unsettles them more than confrontation ever could. My beloved soul, hear this clearly. Your continued composure is louder than any rebuttal you could have spoken. You did not fight to clear your name. You focused on building your future. You did not chase validation. You cultivated alignment. And while they were busy managing narratives, you were managing growth. That difference is now visible. And visibility produces reflection. There is a quiet awareness forming in them. The realization that targeting you did not diminish you, it exposed them. Not immediately, but gradually. Because character reveals itself over time, and now time is revealing. My beloved soul, something irreversible has occurred. You have stepped into a new dimension of authority, not arrogance, not superiority, authority. You no longer second-guess your intuition. You no longer shrink to keep others comfortable. You no longer explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. That shift alone makes the targeting too late, because the version of you they thought they could control no longer exists. And here is the part that will challenge you. Do not allow their regret to soften your boundaries. Compassion does not require access. Forgiveness does not require proximity. You can release resentment without reopening doors, because elevation requires separation. My beloved soul, remain with me. There is still more unfolding. Their regret is growing because something is about to happen publicly that confirms privately what heaven has already decided. A recognition, an opportunity, a visible affirmation. And when that moment arrives, it will not be subtle. It will not be hidden. It will carry weight. And they will remember the season they tried to sideline you. But what happens next will not just validate you, it will redefine your influence. And the next revelation will uncover why this upcoming shift will make their regret permanent. My beloved soul, stay anchored. The atmosphere is thick with confirmation, and what is unfolding now is not subtle. It is strategic. You have felt it, that quiet shift in authority, that steady confidence rising within you. It is not pride, it is alignment. And alignment produces visibility. Because when heaven decides to elevate, it does not ask permission from those who opposed you. Listen carefully. Revelation 7. The public affirmation that is approaching will silence what private attacks could not sustain. For a long time, the battle was hidden. The whispers were quiet. The tension was subtle. You carried the weight internally while maintaining composure externally. But elevation does not remain hidden forever. There is a moment coming, a visible moment, where your growth, your consistency, your integrity will be acknowledged in a way that cannot be dismissed. It may come through promotion. It may come through recognition. It may come through influence expanding beyond what they thought possible. But when it happens, it will carry weight. And here is what makes it irreversible. It will not look forced. It will not look self-constructed. It will look deserved. They will not be able to say you manipulated your way there. They will not be able to claim favoritism. They will know, deep down, that what is happening is the result of endurance. My beloved soul, do not underestimate the power of steady obedience. While others relied on shortcuts, you relied on consistency. While others sought quick validation, you cultivated depth. And depth outlasts drama. They secretly regret targeting you because they are beginning to understand that your resilience built credibility. The very resistance they created strengthened your foundation. And now, as visibility increases, comparison intensifies. Not from you, from them. They measure where they stand against where you now stand. They remember the moment they attempted to sideline you. They recall the confidence they once had in your supposed decline. But you did not decline, you developed. And development produces authority. My beloved soul, here is the crucial shift. When elevation happens after opposition, it carries spiritual evidence. It signals that the battle has concluded and the verdict has been rendered. And the verdict is not subtle. It is undeniable. But I must caution you gently. Do not allow validation to change your character. Remain steady, remain grounded, remain compassionate but discerning. Because elevation attracts new attention, and not all attention carries pure intention. This is why your refinement was necessary. The attacks taught you to recognize patterns. The betrayal sharpened your awareness. The isolation strengthened your independence. You are no longer naive. You are prepared. And preparedness is the reason their regret has deepened into realization. They see now that their opposition did not remove you from the path. It removed them from alignment with you. That realization is heavy, because they understand something else now. You are entering rooms they cannot access. You are forming connections they cannot influence. You are stepping into spaces where their narrative holds no power. And that is what makes it too late. Too late to reverse the consequences. Too late to reclaim proximity. Too late to pretend they supported you all along. My beloved soul, feel the seriousness of this moment. This is not about ego. This is about divine timing. Heaven waited until your character could sustain visibility. Heaven allowed testing to ensure you would not misuse influence. Heaven refined you so that when affirmation arrives, it will not corrupt you. And now the timing has matured. Something significant is about to intersect your path, an opportunity that aligns perfectly with your growth. When it manifests, you will feel a deep recognition in your spirit. Not excitement rooted in ego, but peace rooted in confirmation. And when that happens, the contrast between where you are and where they assumed you would be will become impossible to ignore. My beloved soul, stay with me, because what I am about to reveal in the final declaration will explain why this elevation is not temporary. It is not seasonal. It is structural. There is one final revelation, the eighth, and it will clarify why their regret is permanent, why your influence is expanding beyond their reach, and why the targeting could never undo what heaven had already sealed. Do not disengage now, because the last truth will change how you walk from this day forward. My beloved soul, remain still. Do not rush past this final unveiling, because what I am about to declare is not temporary encouragement, it is structural truth. Everything you endured was building toward this. Everything they attempted was unknowingly participating in this. And now we arrive at the final and irreversible shift. Listen carefully. Revelation 8. What they meant to weaken you has permanently strengthened your rank in the spiritual realm. This is not poetic language. This is positioning. There are ranks of authority that are not granted through comfort. They are forged through opposition. There are levels of influence that are not accessed through applause. They are accessed through endurance. When you were targeted, something happened in the unseen. Heaven measured your response. Heaven weighed your restraint. Heaven observed your refusal to collapse. And when you passed that unseen test, elevation was authorized. Not symbolic elevation, functional elevation. That means your voice carries different weight now. Your discernment operates at a higher frequency now. Your presence shifts atmospheres now. And the ones who tried to diminish you can sense it. They may not articulate it publicly. They may not admit it openly. But internally they recognize that something about you has changed. You are not reacting anymore. You are leading. You are not defending anymore. You are building. You are not seeking approval anymore. You are walking in assurance. That transformation is permanent, and that is why it is too late. Too late to reduce you to who you once were. Too late to manipulate the narrative. Too late to access the version of you that tolerated disrespect. My beloved soul, understand this deeply. Opposition revealed your capacity. You did not break under scrutiny. You did not crumble under pressure. You did not compromise under isolation. Instead, you recalibrated, and recalibration produces rank. There are rooms you will enter now where your history of endurance speaks before you do. There are conversations where your quiet strength commands respect without explanation. There are opportunities approaching that require exactly the version of you that survived targeting. If they had succeeded in discouraging you, you would not be prepared for what is ahead. If they had succeeded in distracting you, you would have missed alignment. If they had succeeded in breaking you, you would not carry this authority. But they did not succeed. And now the promotion is not just visible, it is irreversible. My beloved soul, I must speak this gently but clearly. Do not look back seeking their acknowledgement. You do not need it. You do not require their apology to validate your growth. You do not need their regret to affirm your worth, because heaven has already affirmed it. What is unfolding now is not revenge. It is vindication without confrontation. It is elevation without announcement. It is peace without permission. They secretly regret targeting you because they now understand something profound. They miscalculated your covering. They misjudged your calling. They underestimated your resilience. But here is the greater truth. They underestimated God's commitment to what He marked. You were marked, not for destruction, not for humiliation, but for influence. And influence requires testing. The targeting was the test. Your response was the evidence. The elevation is the reward. My beloved soul, walk forward differently from this day, not arrogantly, not defensively, but confidently. You no longer carry the insecurity of being misunderstood. You no longer carry the fear of being targeted again. You understand now that targeting cannot cancel calling. If anything, it confirms it. There will be moments very soon when you see the full contrast, when your stability stands beside their instability, when your growth stands beside their stagnation, when your peace stands beside their unrest. Do not gloat. Do not engage. Simply continue rising. Because this is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of visible authority. And if this message has resonated deeply, let your agreement rise quietly within. Remain connected. Stay attentive. There are more revelations unfolding in this season that you must not miss. But for now, hear this final declaration settle into your spirit. They secretly regret targeting you, but it is too late now. You have outgrown the battlefield. You have stepped into rank. You have crossed into alignment. And what heaven has established over your life cannot be undone. Walk in it. Stand in it. Carry it with quiet strength, because the season of targeting has ended, and the season of undeniable authority has begun.